I'm just perusing Thomas Paine's Common Sense. Thomas Paine's Common Sense is a very interesting work. It's one that had a lot of impact on the American Revolution. It did a lot to spark the American Revolution. Now, it's not uncommon for literature or art to have a big impact on society itself and be a catalyst in major changes. But how did this little pamphlet at the time do so much to change the thinking of the American people? Well, there are several reasons. Let's start out with the author himself, Thomas Paine. Paine was probably the most ardent of revolutionists in his day, most liberal of liberals, the far left in his time. Believed in women's suffrage, that slaves should be free, and had a very low opinion of religion actually, but that doesn't really come up here. Paine was advocating for something that he believed in firmly. He firmly believed the American people should be independent of the British, and lays it out very clearly in this pamphlet. It's quite the convincing argument he puts forward. He works very hard to show that no one should be subjugated. So there we have Paine. You have someone who truly believes, so it's a good way to start out with convincing. Another thing is, the argument was being made by several other people. Why did Paine's work catch fire? Well, Paine did two things that nobody else had really done yet up to that point. One, he put all the arguments in one place. Yeah, the arguments were out there, but nobody really collected them together and offered them to the people in one consolidated manner. But here Paine did it. He took all the different examples, all the different sort of ideas, and put them into one place and offered them this one condensed work that explained why the Americans should be independent of the British. So that helps. Here you have the one concrete argument that makes it very crystal clear. Also, Paine was incredibly intelligent, but didn't have a classical education. Many of the other men arguing for revolution did, so they would quote great men, they would put things in high terms, things that the common person of the day probably didn't understand or quite grasp onto as being important in many ways. So Paine, being more relatable to the common people, understanding more what would appeal to them, since, he didn't quote Roman philosophers and Greeks and other greats to a certain extent, was able to relate more to the people. He was able to put his word out there in a more common vernacular. So your everyday average American citizen, well, not American yet, still English at the time, could pick this up, read it as long as they were literate, and fully understand what Paine was talking about. In fact, even if you weren't literate, there was a chance you would find someone to read it to you. That was very common in those days. You would go to someone who was read, who was literate, and have them read something like this to you. And so you would get Paine's argument. You wouldn't have to work at it. It's very straightforward. It's very easy language. Paine doesn't mince words. He doesn't go into real flowery explanations. He explains it as he saw it. And many Americans found they agreed with Paine. So those circumstances made Paine's work massively popular. And of course, then the popularity of the revolution followed. People got on board. And this work was a lot of the reason for it. As for the actual content of the work, well, it's interesting. Maybe a bit dated now for most people who wouldn't understand quite the time and place and context of it. But if you're into the history, it's something you should pick up and read. And like I said, it's not a terribly long read. So there you have it, Thomas Paine's Common Sense. A pamphlet that came out in the right time, in the right place, and made the right appeal to the right people. Paine was a lot of things, and he was a pain to the British. I should not quit, that was really bad. I apologize. At any rate, that's my take on Common Sense, and I hope you enjoyed this little historical perspective.